Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan, and today we need to talk about first overall pick Rasmus Dahlin. Now, with Rasmus Dahlin and the Buffalo Sabres slumping pretty hard so far this season, there's been some people out there questioning whether Rasmus Dahlin is a draft bust. Now, personally, for me, I don't think so, but his play so far this season has been really concerning. So what's wrong with Rasmus Dahlin so far in his NHL career? What can be fixed in the future? And how worried should we be for Rasmus Dahlin long term? Make sure you watch till the end for all of the deep dives and all the answers to those questions, and hit that subscribe button if you're new for more daily hockey content just like this. Now, Rasmus Dahlin's name really started to come up after last night's game versus the Washington Capitals, where the Capitals were early up 2-0, and you can almost directly correlate that to Rasmus Dahlin just not really playing defense whatsoever, and the Washington Capitals eventually won that 6-0, but there was a one goal and one brilliant scoring chance early in the game where Rasmus Dahlin just decided to not play defense. I'll show some screenshots here of motion, and the first one with Alex Ovechkin, he didn't end up scoring here, which for Rasmus Dahlin is an absolute blessing, but Ovechkin comes on the left wing, comes straight in on Dahlin, and Dahlin's just standing there, not even using his stick, not even using his body, just decides to give a layup right to Ovechkin. He goes right between Dahlin's legs. Dahlin can't even recover, and Ovechkin gets the brilliant scoring chance on Carter Hutton. And then you have the other fantastic chance, which ended up being a goal for Nicholas Backstrom. This one was just absolutely played exceptionally well by TJ Oshie, but he comes on the left wing, and Dahlin tries to hit him. He barely makes any contact. Oshie springs free, and instead of Dahlin rushing to get back to Oshie, he just stands there and waits for the goal to be put in. That's almost exactly how the Buffalo Sabres are playing right now, but to see it in Rasmus Dahlin so clearly is a little bit sad. Now, in terms of the season stats for Rasmus Dahlin at age 20 this season, in 27 games played, has 1 goal, 10 assists for 11 points, and in the seasons prior, dating back to last season, in 59 games played with 4 goals, 36 assists for 40 points. The season before that, his rookie season in 2019, he put up 44 points, 9 goals, 35 assists in 82 games played. And when it comes to Rasmus Dahlin, honestly, if I'm going back for the years, I think his rookie season is the best he's had so far. He was probably the most complete he's been in the NHL. I thought last year when he was scoring the points, he was great in the power play, solid offensively overall, but the defense I thought took a major step back to the kind of average level it was at in his rookie season. So far this year, the defense has once again been a major problem. The offense hasn't been bad, but it hasn't made up for the defensive play that just has not been there. And one of the main things I've noticed with Rasmus Dahlin's career so far is that people will look towards the points and see just how impressive that is, and it is impressive what he's been able to do, but a lot of it has come on the power play, and I want to just put a kind of warning out there that especially when it comes to defenseman points, a lot of it can come on the power play, and that can inflate point totals a lot. When it comes to his actual point totals, he has 95 points in his career. 47 of them have come on the power play, which is almost half of them. And when it comes to this season, he has put up 11 points. 8 of them have come on the power play as well. So when it comes to the even strength offense, especially this season, it just hasn't been there. He has 3 even strength points in 27 games played. Now, heading into this season, this was the year that many expected Rasmus Dahlin to take that next step. Not just be a points getter, but be a great overall offensive force, even strength, and be a guy that defensively could turn the tide and be a lot better than in 2020. And I thought defensively is where he was really going to have a major improvement, probably be a lot above average and get to a level where he could be confident and be consistent, and it's pretty much been the opposite of that so far this season. Defensively, the confidence is nowhere to be seen. He really didn't have too much confidence last year, but it is night and day. He is worse this year, and offensively, especially even strength, there's a lot less going into Rasmus Dahlin's game on a consistent basis that you can really be proud of, and I think there's a lot of reasons because of that, but the main one I think goes back to confidence. In his rookie season, where I thought he had his best season overall, this was a player that was coming to the NHL as a first overall pick, had the confidence there, but was given the ice time and the sheltered ice time in order to succeed not just offensively, but also on defense. Going into that second season, the defensive confidence really just vanished in the first month and then never really came back. The offense was there, but the defense wasn't quite where it needed to be. And heading into this season, the offense really hasn't been there, the defense hasn't been there, and the confidence hasn't been there either. And honestly, if I was on the Buffalo Sabres and I was on the team that was drafting me first overall and ended up losing 10 straight games and has been terrible these past couple of seasons, if I was Rasmus Dahlin, I'd be playing pretty bad too. So in a situation like that, I don't exactly blame him purposely for that play. And again, he's on the Buffalo Sabres. He's on a franchise that has a track record of not really developing almost anybody correctly. You've seen players like Jack Eichel break that mold, but Jack Eichel is a special talent. Rasmus Dahlin is a special talent. And I think Dahlin will eventually get to that level with the Buffalo Sabres if he does stay with that team, but I think patience is what's going to be needed here, because obviously right now the finished product is nowhere near close to complete with Rasmus Dahlin, and there's just still so much more left in the tank for him. Now, when we look at what other players have done in that draft class, I remember going back to that 2018 draft, I had Rasmus Dahlin first. I had Svechnikov second, though, and I thought Svechnikov always had potential to maybe be the best player of the draft if everything went right. But with Dahlin, it's been a much different story. With Svechnikov, he has become one of the best wingers in the entire NHL, and with Rasmus Dahlin, he's really just had a struggle to really get his feet in the NHL confidently and be consistent as well. Again, I think that will eventually come because he's too talented to not do that. But with the Buffalo Sabres, the chances of him actually reaching that elite #1 level are looking a lot more slim right now. And I think we also have to talk about the elephant in the room here of if actually Rasmus Dahlin staying with the Buffalo Sabres is the right choice whatsoever. And with Rasmus Dahlin, he has this season left on his entry-level deal, and then after this season, on to the offseason, he'll be an RFA at age 20. And I think with Rasmus Dahlin, when you look at the pedigree of the Buffalo Sabres and actually developing prospects into what they need to be, I think there's only 2 prospects out there, at least when it comes to the first round, that have actually gone up to that level, Jack Eichel and Sam Reinhart. Besides that, you look at the pedigree they've had of guys like Casey Middlestat and Nikita Zadorov and Grigorenko and Gergensons, and even guys like Ristolainen, who are finally having a good season now, have waited like 7 years for that to actually be the case. It just has been a terrible draft record with Buffalo, a terrible player development tracker with the Buffalo Sabres as well, and it just has been nothing to write home about. And if you're the Buffalo Sabres, if you're Rasmus Dahlin specifically, what tells you about this Buffalo Sabres team that you actually want to stay here for? Unless you're going to get paid like $12 million, which the Buffalo Sabres might have to do if they want to keep him, I think there's a lot of teams out there that might want to offer sheet eventually. It might not be this offseason, but let's say Rasmus Dahlin signs a 3-year bridge deal, and then after that is still an RFA, but is a guy that is very, very attractive. Now, in terms of cap space right now, I think the LA Kings, Red Wings, even the Devils have a lot of potential there. Who knows in 3 seasons if that's the actual case there, but I think there's a lot of teams out there that would really like to offer sheet a guy like that. The Buffalo Sabres have nothing to lose in the Rasmus Dahlin situation, and they likely will pay as much as possible, but at the same time, if Rasmus Dahlin truly wants out, especially later in his career, I think the Buffalo Sabres will kind of have to listen, and I think Rasmus Dahlin eventually will either be traded or will sign somewhere else in his NHL career, because right now, the confidence that he's at, the level that he's at, is unacceptable for him and where he should be in his NHL career. And I would say for the Buffalo Sabres, they should absolutely be ashamed of just their franchise, but how they've handled guys like Dahlin so far in their careers. It's been absolutely atrocious. And I think a lot of things have led to Rasmus Dahlin's poor play. Obviously, some of this is on him, and I think a lot of it is also just because the confidence is not there, but also I think just the willingness to get to that elite level just isn't really there with the Buffalo Sabres, and I think you kind of see that in all the players. Even players that get to that elite level like Jack Eichel have shown this season that they just don't really care with the Buffalo Sabres, and that kind of locker room, that kind of mindset, especially for a 20-year-old defenseman, is extremely toxic for what he can become at the NHL level. To me, Dahlin still has potential to be one of, if not the best defenseman in the NHL. The talent is there, the potential is there, but it's obvious that the things that he needs to be fixed aren't going to be fixed with the Buffalo Sabres. That defensive awareness, that overall awareness, that defensive structure that he truly needs, I don't think will be accomplished by the Buffalo Sabres unless they're able to get a fantastic coach or something like a Bruce Boudreau or a Gerard Gallant perhaps, but I'm not holding my breath for that personally. I think for Rasmus Dahlin, my advice is this. Still try your best in the Buffalo Sabres because you should not give up on any team whatsoever. But with Rasmus Dahlin, it's obvious that he does need some fixing. So what I propose is that this offseason he signs a bridge 2-year deal, gets as much money as possible from that, just absolutely sink the Buffalo Sabres that way. Then after that 2-year deal, call up the LA Kings. I know it's tampering, but you know, you just have to do it. Call up the LA Kings, say, hey, can you give me an offer sheet perhaps, and then you go sign that at your age 22 season. It's not too late to become an elite player. You go to the LA Kings, some fantastic development coaches over there, especially in the AHL. You can bring those guys up, fix Rasmus Dahlin, and get him to that elite level. I think it can still happen, but if it is in the Buffalo Sabres, if Dahlin stays in the Buffalo Sabres, the chances of him becoming a draft bust is a lot more likely, and the chances of him not reaching that level is going to look pretty good, which for Rasmus Dahlin is absolutely not what should happen with his talent level. And just like Jack Eichel, if you can somehow find that gold ticket and get the heck out of Buffalo, do it. You will not regret it because the Buffalo Sabres are not going anywhere. But that'll be it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell for more deep dives just like this. Make sure you comment down below. What do you think about Rasmus Dahlin? Do you think he's a draft bust? Do you still think he can go to that elite level? And what do you think he should do with the Buffalo Sabres? Do you think he should go somewhere else? And how do you think he's been playing so far in his career? Let me know all your thoughts. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Get the Dahlin concerns out there and the Dahlin discussion out there as well. And, of course, click on this card somewhere up here to watch all my hockey rankings content right on one playlist. My name is Nathan. Thanks so much for watching. Hashtag pray for Dahlin. And I'll see you in the next video or stream. Goodbye.